Hello and welcome to day 4 of the 2025 World Para-Athletics Championships in New Delhi, in India. We have 2 sessions today. It's been absolutely fantastic so far. We're at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium with over 1,000 athletes taking part in these championships, the 12th edition of the World Para-Athletics Championships, the largest para-sport ever to be held in India. Conditions slightly more overcast today, 28 degrees at present. Some possible rain throughout the day as well. That wind, as it has been throughout, negligible. Last day of September, as we head towards the 10th month of the year, and we're hurtling towards the end of these Para-Athletics Championships. This is what we've got to look forward to today. Men's discus throw F56 and the women's shot put F54 seated events to get us underway. Then we have the first final of the day in the track events. It's the men's 1500 metres T13, least of the visual impairment categories. Men's 200 metres T37, opening round of that as well. Men's long jump T12 final. And the men's 100 metres T44 final at 20:11 in the morning to look forward to. The likes of Marco Cicchetti going in that one. Naif Al-Rashami as well. And then we got the last few events of the morning, finishing off with the 400 metres T38 round. And we've got 2 finals to get us through as well. Men's 400 metres T54 and the men's 400 metres T20. I'm Tulson Tollett. Steph Reed is alongside me. And let's hear now from Will Downing.
Yeah, because we've got the men's discus throw F56 seated category. Second strongest physically of the seated throws. So good morning, one and all, and good morning to these 8. There's a few F55s who are in here as well, which is a category down, but they're considered close enough to be able to compete against each other. We do have the reigning Paralympic champion in this, and a man who wins lots of goals, Claudinei Batista of Brazil. As usual, we'll be introduced to everybody. It's another busy morning of field events here, loads happening simultaneously. And we'll bring you as much of it as we can via our host broadcaster of Indian television. Told you it was busy in terms of field events, because here comes another one.
Yes, the women's shot put F54, the second of the seated events to get us underway in the morning. There are 6 set to go in this, including Gloria Zaze, the Paralympic and world champion. Elizabeth Rodriguez, the discus gold medalist already at these championships. She was the world champion in 2023 in the shot put. We've also Maria Bogacheva, who's a 3-time European champion in the javelin, but always excels in this event as well. Gold medalist back in 2013 in Lyon. She's twice won silver as well. And the home hopes with Kirtika Jayachandran. It was wonderful with the javelin last night. India 1 and 2 in that F46 javelin. Can they pick up a medal in the women's shot put F54? We shall find out very shortly, but it's time to head back and have a look at the men's discus throw F56 field.
Yeah, so a lot in this. Now we have 8. And in the Paralympics final last year, we actually only had 5 competing in it. Higher qualifying standards for the Paralympic Games, although I'll tell you they're very high for the Worlds. Quite a lot of decent name athletes have not been able to make it here. A separate discus throw for the nominally strongest, least impaired seated throwing category, which are the F57s. These are the F56 sixes. And there is interest in India as well via this man who's won silver in the last 2 Paralympic Games, Yogesh Katunya. Same in the World Championships last year as well. There's been a pecking order which he will be certainly trying to shake up. Now, Dusan Lachko of Slovakia is not here, and he regularly does crash into the medals. But not this time, not this year. So might open the door for quite a few in this field to suddenly have a chance of a somewhat rare major championship medal. But we'll see. The ultimate man to beat has claimed the last 3 Paralympic golds and the last 3 World Championship golds. It's also going to be early throws from Riyadi Saputra here from Indonesia. He's there somewhere. Little glance over the shoulder. There he is. Oh, there he was. Ah, ready to go. 33.57. So it's the shortest of the lifetime bests in the field, as the shortest of the season's best. But come along with the day, you throw it out and see what happens. And everybody, from what I can tell, is still waiting for their big introduction. Fantastic crowd for the javelin last night. It was a joy to see. It was fun. So this man is the regular European champion. He's now 68, Lazarus Stefanidis. He's been competing since the very early days of international para-athletics
in the world in
the 1980s. Christopher Murillo of Panama, 29 years old. He's again got a shorter lifetime best of 35.21. Maciej Bernot of Poland. He's the youngest of the field at the age of 24. Welcome aboard. Very long throw at 36 this year. Konstantinos Tsinidis, he's picked up bronze in the last 2 Paralympic Games. And he's the European champion. This man is the champion. Gold in the last 3 Paralympics, the last 3 World Championships, the world record holder, 3-time Pan Am champion as well, Tadej Batista. And this man has won silver in the last 2 Paralympic Games, silver in the Worlds last year in Kobe, Yogesh Katunya of India. Kenny Pacheco, regularly competitive, this man for Peru. Probably he would say that the discus is not necessarily his best event. And Riyadi Saputra is up next. Kenny Pacheco does pick up medals here and there across the various throwing disciplines, not so much in the discus. But Saputra has his opportunities now. All the throws coming at once, all 6 of them for each athlete, and then you sit and you wait. Now it feels a lot more milder this morning, I'll tell you that. Definitely doesn't feel as if we're in the 30s, and we are due to have a couple of days of rain coming as well. Which I'll tell you what, Steph Reed, morning, is a little bit of a help.
Well, I feel like we have to be entirely truthful here and confess that we are sitting in a very lovely air-conditioned booth. So
yeah, but they're not, and we're talking about them.
No, they're not. They are having to deal with some pretty intense temperatures, and we've seen that some athletes are coming out with ice vests, particularly in the field events, and wearing them as they wait, just to keep that core temperature down. There's lots of water going on, and athletes are doing very well to monitor their heat.
So that is the first registered throw. You get your 3 or 4 practice throws, and it all starts for real. Actually, tell you what, if you like your field events for the first half hour, because the first track action is around 9:30, just gone past 9 AM here. So, yep, the discus and the shot put will be keeping you royally entertained with for the next little while. And remember, there is a separate fields feed. Depends which territory you're in, where you are, how you access it. Indian television are doing one as well, which you may be able to access. We're going to try and give you as much of the best of the field as possible. But remember, if there are 4 events happening at once, all of these pictures this time are live via Indian national television. So when it's gone, but there are alternate feeds you can try and view. This is all live, apart from the replays. That was a foul, by the way. Probably all gathered that yourself anyway, the first attempt, and here's the second one. It's just shy of 35, and that is knocking around his lifetime best. Should he get the white flag for that? They do have tents out so the athletes can avoid the New Delhi sun. And the official with the flag is pressed behind it. It's 32.62, and that's the season's best with his first attempt, so that's nice.
Just a note, if you were with us for the introduction, you may have been a little bit confused to see two of the athletes standing and the rest of them in wheelchairs. And so just to clarify, as a seated throws event, what that means is simply that you have to sit for the throw, and you can just see their Saputra adjusting the strapping that's holding him to that chair. And the reason why they are so strict when it comes to remaining seated on that chair is because it makes a huge difference in the throws if you are getting power from your legs. And we know that in sports like basketball or in baseball, you shoot with your legs, you throw with your legs, and that's why they really have to make sure this is a neutral, even playing field for the seated throws.
Absolutely. So let's see how he does with his third attempt. That's the season's best with the second one. And that one has gone out. It's shy of the mark. Shy of 30 meters, so it won't be an improvement for him, and this is where he can take his little break.
And you can see just from the seated position there, a lot of effort goes into preparing those frames and choosing the position that you want to sit. For example, he could be sitting flat on, but it wouldn't make any sense for this event because so much of that initial velocity is generated by the way that he's rotating his torso. So by sitting to the side, he's able to impart that much more velocity onto the disc.
So this is where he gets his chance for a little break. Well, I'll tell you, went out to around 29 meters. And that was a foul, as it turned out. The red flag went up, which I'm afraid we couldn't quite see. Well, I'll tell you who we're going to see now.
Absolutely.
Finally, we've got our next final, the women's shot put, F54.
45 years of age, the Iranian. Lifetime best of 776. Season best this year.
IndianOil in 2024 from the Islamic Republic of Iran. Elam Salehi.
She'll be the last of the athletes to throw in this seated shot put event. All 6
Seventh
at
in
the
the world in
same time.
2024, a neutral para-athlete, Julia Nezuru.
Julia Nezura, the neutral para-athlete. Lifetime best set this year of 709. And 60 years of age. She was silver in this event last year in Paris. She's won gold here in a discus already. Elizabeth Rodriguez of Brazil.
Paralympic champion representing
Reigning
Mexico,
Paralympic and world
Gloria
champion,
Zaza.
Gloria Zaza. Also took silver in Tokyo back in 2020. Maria Bogacheva, gold medalist back in 2013 in Lyon. Silver in Doha in 2015 and Dubai in 2019. She's also a double European champion.
In the chair with a lifetime best of 5.
Now in the hot seat at the moment, it's Jaya Chandran of India. Lifetime best set this year of 5:46. She looks to continue India's run here, where they've got 5 medals already, 2 golds, 2 silvers, and a bronze for the host nation. 2 of those coming last night, the men's javelin throw F46, Rinku with the win, and Sundar Singh Gurjar with the silver medal. So she's in the chair at the moment. Just getting herself warmed up to get those practice throws to start with. Then we'll be to it. That is their first throw. So we must have missed the practice ones. I can tell you it's 6:21 lifetime best with her first throw. So a very good effort. First up, she's beaten her lifetime best she set this year by 75 centimetres. So that is a pretty decent first up effort from Jaya Chandran, considering she had 5:46 coming into this, and she's already obliterated her lifetime best with her opening throw. How is number 2 going to compare to that one? Well, it's out around the 6 metre mark. I don't think that one's going to be an improvement. Maybe just under the 6 metre mark.
This is exactly why it's so exciting for an athlete to get that opportunity to be at a home crowd. Because even last night with all those crowds, yes, you heard the cheers, and yes, a sports psychologist is going to tell you, just pretend they're for you and soak it up. But deep down it's not. And to have it and to know that people are here backing you, your family's able to watch you, your family's able to be here. We heard last night an athlete bringing the entire village. It's exciting.
I think as an athlete, if you don't have nerves and you don't have that adrenaline rush and knowing that you're in a competition, then you aren't going to perform. You have to have that. And I think when you look at this, and that the second one, by the way, was 5:96 after that opener of 6:21, the lifetime best for Jaya Chandra, and that one there is probably going to be a slightly better. It is. So 6:25, she's added the further 4 centimetres. So 3 down. She'll get a drink now and a quick rest and chance to recuperate and sort herself out if she's got any issues she needs to, and then she'll go again. But it's a great start. But yeah, you have to have that. Being in a home games and knowing that people are there looking at you, there has to be that sense of self-pressure on you to try and make you perform as well.
A lot of people get really scared about the butterflies and the nerves and the anxiety, but actually that's a sign that your body is pumping out the adrenaline and filling your muscles with this incredibly effective natural enhancer, and you think this is a good thing. And even though it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, if you can learn to harness it, that's when you really get those amazing performances. And that's the reason why you tend to do better in a competition than you do in training, because it's just not the same.
Yeah, you get that endorphin release and all of a sudden you are right in the zone. It looks as though she's in the zone at the moment. The time has gone down, so it's time to go again for Jaya Chandran with her 4th attempt. And that one is around the 6 metre mark. Again, it's not going to be an improvement. She gets the white flag, so there's been no issues so far with her throwing. Backside staying down. There's no issues with the judges looking on. They're happy with what they see. And she must be happy with what she's done so far, because to come into this with a lifetime best of 5:46 and all of a sudden you're throwing 6:25, regardless of how she fares when it comes to the medals, she has to be happy with the improvement that's been shown here.
I mean, setting a personal best at a World Championships is always a big deal, and she's just 29. My ears couldn't help but perk up when you read out Rodriguez Gomez's age, 60. And I think one of the things about the throws events is that your strength, you don't lose it the same way that you might lose your speed in running, and it's a sport that doesn't, well, if you take care of your body, it doesn't quite have the impact forces you might get from running. And so you really do have that ability to have that longevity. And it just reminded me of the fact that actually the world record holder for the plank, that exercise that you do that works your core, it's actually a grandma from Canada. Donna Jean Wild, 58 years old, 4 hours, 30 minutes.
I thought you were going to say it was yours then.
I wish. No, I'm happy if I get 6 minutes.
Well, I put the commentator's curse on it, didn't I, by saying that she hadn't had a foul, and then the 4th one was a foul for Jaya Chandra. And so the 4th one a foul. The 5th one, we shall see. I'm not going to say a word, because as soon as I say something, it may well end up being a foul, and I'm pretty sure it is a foul, the 5th one. So she's got one left to throw. Just to give you an idea of what she's up against. When you look at Gloria Zaza, who's the world and Paralympic champion, her lifetime best is 8.19 metres. Her season best this year is 7.72. So you do the math on that, and it's another metre and a half further than what Jaya Chandran has thrown so far. But she has to be happy with this. She's added 70, 80 centimetres to her lifetime best, and that is, it might not sound like a lot, but it is a huge amount when you look at it in the context of how far they're throwing all up. So I can tell you that fifth attempt, where you see the three dots moving up and down, it was a foul. So this will be the sixth attempt coming up here. So the final attempt for Kirthika Jayachandran, and that is a foul as well. So I don't want to say anything, but as soon as I mentioned after 3 throws that she was doing so well and there hadn't been a foul, 3 come in the 4th, 5th and 6th attempt. So 6.25 is that lifetime best she threw with the 3rd attempt. So Kirthika Jayachandran, her Paralympic Games in the women's shot put F54 final is done and dusted. And they'll unstrap her now and get her into a position where the next person can move in.
Just a quick note on those fouls, sorry Tilson. It's just important to point out that she's not doing it intentionally. I think she got possibly so excited about those first few throws and just started putting more force into it. But just with the laws of physics, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction, and that's just her body responding to the force she's putting out. It is a technical issue. She's going to have to adjust, but excellent showing for Jayachandran.
Well, this is her only event she's in at these games, so it goes quick, doesn't it? You get yourself into a position the night before, you're ready to go, you get there, and all of a sudden after putting yourself in position, having some warm-up throws and getting your throws away in 10 or 15 minutes, it's all over. But having said that, she has improved and she's gone up around 80 centimetres on her lifetime best, so you cannot fault the effort that's gone in. It is warm out there as well, extremely warm. So she's out of the chair as far as the throwing chair goes, and she'll now wait for the other 5 competitors to have their go until we find out who's the winner of the women's shot put F54 final.
Uganda well represented here. Nice to see various national teams growing from various corners. Always welcome, always means that the awareness is rising and the coverage as well. As we go to the men's discus F56, so quick update on Raidi Saputra here, the Asian Games champion in this, silver in the javelin and bronze in the shot at the last games of 2023. We saw his best throw, 4 of the 6 were no throws. 32.62 is season's best. He wasn't able to add on to it. He's the first of the 8 to go. And Kenny Pacheco now will try and overtake. So this year he's gone out to 37.63, that being a new America's record. It was in the Cali Grand Prix. Bronze in the discus at the Pan Ams in Santiago 2 years ago. He is in the shot, and he's quite decent in the shot, but it's actually the discus that he's better in. He was 5th in the shot in Santiago a couple of years ago. Made his global championship debut last year in Kobe at the Worlds. He finished 7th in the discus there, was really working very hard to get the nod, get his tickets to Paris for the Paralympic Games. Proved not to be. But he is only 34. He is internationally relatively new to this sport, and as we can see, he could be in this sport a long time. Check it out. They're getting the schools in, that's a nice sign. I think the rest of the class have gone missing.
one of the best things about introducing parasport to school kids is they ask the best questions. And I'm just racking my brain at the moment thinking, what's the best question I have ever been asked by a kindergarten or a young class? And I think my favorite one so far is, if I tickle your artificial toes, does it make you giggle?
Is there an answer to that?
Well, I did tell the young boy yes, and he then proceeded to spend the rest of the visit trying to tickle my toes on my artificial foot when I wasn't looking to see if he'd get a reaction. Eventually I got caught out and he realized I was just having him on.
See, that's the worst thing. You give an answer and then somewhere 6 weeks down the line, you'll be asked the same question again in a different way. So with my boys, it's the follow-up question that always nabs you. It's always asked at once, so they always ask them, why are the uniforms all orange? Why? It's the second why that nails it. I wasn't going to answer first time. Well, he knows me too well by now. Anyway, the all different kinds of...
I should hope so, he's your son.
This is very true. This is very true. And... oh, he's asleep now. It's about 4 AM back home. He's been watching, which I'm glad to say. We finally managed to find it on the TV, which is very good. Had to do a 30-minute video call, but you know.
He's got the mute button, so every time Dad comes on, he hits mute.
Absolutely, yeah.
Waits until he comes off and then he turns it back
Proper
on.
order. That's what I would do too. Yeah, so obviously it takes a while to get strapped in, and we have the same situation in the women's shot put F54, which is going on as well. So a lot of this field actually do have major championship medals to their name. I mean, the case of Konstantinos Tunis, who we were talking about, he is the reigning European champion right now. That was 4 years ago. So there are thoughts that there may be continental championships again next year. It's not been announced one way or another, but we'll return. Let's win the World Championships in 2 years' time. So everybody here has been issued with a hat as well. It's taking a while for Kenny, because as you'll see, he's not sat down at the moment. There's something not quite right with the chair. The strappings aren't to his preference, and you've got to be properly strapped in, because otherwise red flags come.
You can just see one of the officials there very generously stepping in as Fichenka's body double. But this is one of the things that you have to learn to do as a seated thrower. At the moment, those are volunteers that are helping set up that chair, and he's basically having to organize and instruct them to make sure that the setup that he needs is there, and he's doing exactly the right thing. He doesn't feel rushed, he doesn't feel pressure to just quickly hop on anything if it's not correct, because so much force is going to go through that chair.
Because the important thing to say is he's not on the clock right now, and if the circumstances aren't right, it's not worth getting on the chair and being strapped in and then suddenly finding, right, this is actually all wrong, and then there's nothing you can do about it, and your competition's totally ruined, because then you are on the clock, you've done your practice throws, and it's got to be a horrible feeling, because it must have happened a few times to various athletes that it's not right, but you've gone along with it anyway, thinking, no, probably it will settle, and then it doesn't, and then that's absolutely destroyed your competition.
That's your base right now. That is your foundation, and you're going to put all your trust on that chair and trust that it's going to hold on to you. And if you don't have confidence in your equipment, it's really, really hard to perform well.
Kenny's happy. He's giving it the strength test.
Except he's now crossed himself, so I'm not sure. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily be confident from that, but
I'd say he's probably speaking Spanish, and they're speaking Hindi or English down there, and I think the officials interpreting from both sides of things and trying to help out. And Kenny's blessed himself and hope for the best.
Absolutely, you just have to shrug. Times when you can be divided by a common language. Well, he's settled in now. He's going to get the strapping in. But moreover, it's those orange straps that are keeping the chair stable. So there must have been a little bit of rocking and rolling, and then the officials will have come in, and like a lot of the officials are from all over the world, so not necessarily all from India. We've got the first track final. It is suddenly 9:25. How did that happen? We go to the final of the men's 1500 metres T13. This is the category of least visual impairment, but it's still a lot of visual impairment. It's up to a 20% vision, but down to 5. And we've got, as usual, a big field for this 1500 metres final. 12 in total. We've got the reigning Paralympic champion in it, Alexander Kostin, and Mikhail Al of Turkey, who was really, really impressive in his semi-final at the Paralympic Games. He finished 7th in the 5,000 and 8th in the 1500 metres. He wasn't competing in para-athletics when the last Europeans came along. He's ready for the next ones whenever they do. The reigning Paralympic champion in the 1500 metres, neutral athlete Alexander Kostin, is the reigning European 5,000 metres champion as well. To the delight of the Ugandan fans who are in the stadium, championship debut for Jonas Oyema. He's 22 years old, 4:01 his lifetime best this year. On his inside from Jordan, the reigning Asian Para Games champion, silver in the 5 as well in Hangzhou, Nabil Makabla. Inside him, well, he turns 20 a couple of days before Halloween. He's based at St Mary's Richmond with Weir Archer, that training group. Championship debut for Arthur Mills. On his inside, 9th of the 1500 metres at the World Championships in Kobe last year, Abdelhadi Boudra. His inside for Ecuador, 4th in the 5,000 metres final at the Paralympic Games. He's the 5,000 Pan Am champion, silver in the 15. It's Sixto Moreto of Ecuador. He does have a guide, Luis Masabanda. Inside him from Brampton, Ontario, he's come through the University of Windsor, championship debut for Canada's Nicholas Neri, former Lancer track and field. Inside him for the United States, the Pan Am champion, originally from San Diego, Joel Gomez. No global medals for him yet. Inside him, championship debut, season's best in the semi-final of 4:19, John Oliveira. Inside him, the 2019 world champion in this, silver in the 5 2 years ago in Paris, 4th in the Paris Paralympics, disqualified at the 5 when he'd won it, Jared Clifford of Australia. Better luck this time? He will hope so. And on the very much inside, 6th in the 5,000 at the Paris Paralympics, and 4th in the 5 in Kobe at the Worlds last year, John Lekedi of Kenya. So it's a field of 12, T13, where there are not guides, a couple of T12s thrown in as well, where guides are optional. So underway in the 1500 metres final for T13, Lekedi, Clifford, Oliveira, Gomez, Neri, Moreto, Boudra, Mills, Makabla, Oreme, Kostin and Al. The Paralympic champion, Anton Kuliatin, sorry, the world champion last year, Anton Kuliatin, is not in this. The neutral athlete, the Paralympic champion, Alexander Kostin, very much is. And he's tucked in at the side and quite happy with where he's positioned in the exchanges here. Joel Gomez making a little bit of a move up. And Jared Clifford, how does he approach this race after what happened in Paris last year?
Back in Rio 2016, this was the race that made headlines around the world, and that was because Abdelatif Baka of Algeria won the men's T13 1500 meters at the Paralympics in a time faster than Matthew Centuritz of the USA won in the Olympics. Now, obviously it was a tactical race, and so you can't really compare times across it, but it just goes to highlight the kind of quality that we are getting in para-athletics right now.
Moretta's moved his way up now. I remember that Paralympic final very well. I remember Bakker, the twin brother, running it as well. Matt Centrovitz, it was a really good Olympic Games victory in Rio, but it was one of the slowest, the most tactical 1500 meters finals you could ever see. But just goes to show these gentlemen are proper athletes 100%. Moretta definitely is for Ecuador. So gold in the 5, silver in the 15 in Santiago at the most recent Pan Ams in 2023. And then going back a few years, silver in the 5 and bronze in the 15. So he's upgraded. He has never won a global medal. It's his 4th World Championship. He came so close in Paris at the Paralympics last year, being edged out into 4th. And now he's really making up the waves here. Gomez right behind him, Clifford in 3rd, tucked in the inside, sedate pace, and well, guess who's moved up alongside? Costin alongside Clifford in 4th, and well perched on the outside of those two, Boudreaux with 2 laps to go.
Now I'm interested at Moreto Criollo's move to the front. Now, he was listed as running with the guide, and he's clearly not running with the guide right now. I wonder perhaps an injury, but how that's then going to play into this race if he's used to having someone else give him information that he's not able to pick up visually.
Well, he's currently tucked in the inside. He's fallen back a little bit. Gomez still leads for the United States, coached as so many are in the Paralympic setup by the great Brazilian Olympic champion from LA 1984, Joachim Cruz. Brilliant athlete he was, and he's brought through a whole load of greats also. And Gomez leading the front right now. He's satisfied with where he is. It's been a good time for US middle distance running. Just think of Cole Hocker. Just think of Mikey Brannigan. Costin behind, ready to bounce. Coming further on the outside, interesting, Oyema's, they hit the bell, but I think Alexander Costin is right where he wants to be right now. He's behind Joel Gomez, but in 2nd spot, and waiting for Gomez maybe to tie up, seeing if he's something in reserve. Clifford, he's in the inside, he's beginning to get a little bit boxed in, and here comes Mikael Al. Al has made a big move up in 4th spot. Gomez is holding on for the United States right now. He's got a good lead over the Paralympic champion Costin. Clifford 3, Al 4, and it's between these 4 now. They've really stretched out. The rest burnt out. Al might be gone as well. Clifford hanging on in 3rd. It's Gomez leading Costin. Costin now looking to move on the outside. Does he have enough left? Clifford still stuck in 3rd. It's between Gomez and Costin here. Costin trying to catch up, but Joel Gomez is surely going to do it. Costin doesn't have it. Gomez the world champion. Costin 2nd, Clifford 3rd. A faller on the line. Al just got 4th, I think. But what a day for Joel Gomez of the United States, as he is the 1500 meters world champion. Beats Costin by 900ths of a second, and Clifford gets the bronze for Australia. But Joel Gomez, a day he'll never forget.
Wow, what a finish to that race, and you have to hand it to Gomez there, getting the tactics absolutely perfect. Now, if you look through the season's best, Gomez came in knowing that he had the advantage. The problem is Costin coming in with the season's best of 4:18, very slow, but that doesn't tell you everything, because maybe he's just been in a bunch of slow races. But I think Gomez knew early on, perhaps I don't have that same kick as the rest of the field, and so he started winding this up early, and you could see Costin grimacing down the back stretch. Even still, Costin still challenged him down the home straight, but Gomez was able to take the sting out of those legs of Costin's early on, timing that to perfection.
Well, that was brilliant by Joel Gomez, because he hit the front and was determined to stay there. And so often in situations like that, you see athletes burned out, but he wasn't. He knew it. He knew he hadn't been overtaken by Costin on the line, and Joel Gomez takes the world crown. Well, Jared Clifford, who left Paris last year without a medal, he gets a medal here, and that's great news from his point of view. And Clifford has been so wonderfully consistent over the years. That's his 5th championship medal. But Joel Gomez, the Pan Am champion, the man from San Diego, takes the world crown. Magnificent result for him. finished 11th in his first World Championships in this in 2019 in Dubai. He was hot there. Well, let's face it, I think everywhere we go in this, it's hot. He was 7th in the Paralympic final last year. And maybe it's a bit of a Cole Hocker story because he is the numero uno now. Joel Gomez, the world champion for the United States, 3:57.71. Costin the silver, the neutral athlete, in second. And Jared Clifford gets the bronze for Australia. Mikael Al did, with that dive in the line, just get fourth spot ahead of Abdel Hadi Boudrin. Arthur Millis in his championship debut 11th, and Nicholas Neary on his debut in 12th spot. So I mentioned San Diego, always think of Simon and Simon, but he's cracked the case as Joel Gomez. He's the world champion now.
Better than Simon and Garfunkel.
They were good in their day as well.
They
though.
were. Indian interest in the women's shot put F54 this morning. They're here watching that, no doubt. Kirthika Chandran was the first to go in that. Maria Bogacheva has since gone as the second athlete in that women's shot put F54 final. The two-time European champion, former world champion. She's in first position at the moment, is Bogacheva. 685 was her best with her final attempt. So she leads the way. But it's time to return to the track for the second event of the morning on there. Men's 200 metres T37. First of two heats to take place before we find out who our field is for the final. Saptiogo Panomo will go in lane 2. He was 5th in the Paralympics last year. Already claimed the bronze here over 100 metres at these World Para-Athletics Championships. Botswana represented through Ronald Rich. He'll go in lane number 3, the man who has a lifetime best of 24.61. Chairman Kobasov, he was 100th in 100 metres here, he was 6th. He was the bronze medalist in this event back in 2019 in Dubai, and he won the European Championship gold in 2016. Next to him in lane 5, it's Ukraine's Mykola Reski, 18 years of age, also competing in the 400 metres at these games. Poland's Mikhail Karkowski in lane number 6, a silver medalist in Kobe last year. Gold medalist in the Europeans back in 2018 in lane number 6. Liam Koenig of Australia. Was due to go in lane number 7. But he doesn't start. So in lane number 8, it'll be Ricardo Gomez de Mendonca, who was a silver medalist last year in Kobe. Anton Vyokstastov, also in the 100 metres here, and the 400 metres will go out in lane 9, the neutral Paralympic athlete. So we were set to have 8 going in this heat. It will be 7. Disappointment for Liam Koenig. Not too sure why he's not running. He missed a couple of seasons through injury with bad hamstring issues. But he doesn't line up in this field. It'll be the first 3 who go through. Next 2 fastest across both heats go through to the final. And they get away. And looking very good there off the blocks was Gomez de Mendonca, who flew around that one there. He's already won gold in the 100 metres here. He's looking now to do it in the 200 metres, and he's really breezing down there. Kotkowski looking good, but he looks like he's going to be reeled in. Vyacheslav on the outside, Kotkowski in third position, but Gomez de Mendonca has just eased up as he's gone across the line. Vyacheslav has taken second position. I think Kotkowski may have held on for third place there to go through as one of those automatic qualifiers. I think he's in a bit of trouble here, actually. Gomez de Mendonca, he looked like he was holding onto his leg, but he's perhaps just doing a bit of kidding there. But he almost walked across the line. Lifetime best for Vyacheslav. Gomez de Mendonca looks like he's okay. 23.30 for him, and it was Kotkowski, the season best, who took third place, 23.59. Well, at the moment, Rajski's in the hot seat, 23.61, the youngster from Ukraine, with a lifetime best for him, and we'll have to wait and see how the rest fare in heat number 2. But that was a pretty easy run, step 3 for the man who's already got gold here in the 100.
Yeah, absolutely no surprises there. And just based on the way that he won that 100 meters, he didn't win it with a start, he won it with his top end speed. So absolutely no surprises that when you come into a 200 meters, where the start is even less important and that top end velocity becomes more important, he pretty much shut it down for 50 meters, which is crazy when you consider the time he still ran, just 0.2 off his season's best, and running it so easy. And just to reassure everybody, I'm fairly certain that that was just a celebration. We didn't quite understand. We're not in on the inside joke.
Yeah, I thought he grabbed the back of his leg. I thought he might have done something to his hamstring, but I think he was, he was ranting and raving, but he was happy in the way he was doing it. Anyway, Gomez de Mendonca keeps alive the dream of winning the 100-200 double. He's in first place. Vyacheslav and Kotkowski also go through, and at the moment it's Rajski and Kobasov with 23.61 and 23.63 who sit in the hot seats as far as the qualifiers going through to the final. Second heat to come.
Decent enough morning, but a bit more temperate. I see more of the schools coming in now, that's good. We did a lot of this in Kobe. Oh, there's a few people taking notes, that's even better. That's how I got started.
I bet you've still got those notes at home
No,
as well, haven't you? I bet you do. Just to let you know that Will
I always get a rise
Will
from this
Downing,
gentleman.
Will Downing, it takes him 10 to 15 minutes to get himself sorted after we finish a session, because he has so many notes that he brings with him that he has to put them back in his bag. And then we get a lorry that comes along and takes us out to our car that goes back to the hotel.
Considering it takes a few hours to write notes for each session, I'm not going to throw all that work away, thank you. They're in folders.
It is admirable, I have to say, your dedication to accuracy and information.
Yeah, thank you. But trying to sell the Titanic was also admirable.
Do you not go home and scan those notes into a computer? Or do you just keep them up?
I would take
or
days.
Do you just keep them up in the loft with the pigeons and the rats?
No, there's... No, they're downstairs in the case.
Next to the fire, when the fire has to be started during the winter.
Yes, absolutely, just in case we need it. Kenny Pacheco, by the way, that discus F56 final, we're now to 25.19. He leads currently for Peru, the Pan Am medalist. Very tidy bronze in Santiago. Finds himself at the moment in second spot. So coming up now, the men's 200 meters T37, the second semi-final as it is in effect. And the ultimate champion goes in lane 9, Andrei Verdovin, the reigning European world Paralympic champion. But Bartolomeu de Silva, reigning 400 world champion, he's in this, and the silver medalist from the other night in the 1, Christian Louise. Here he is, Christian Louise. Very good silver in the 1, and in Paris in the Worlds 2 years ago, silver in the 2 and bronze in the 1. He won bronze in the 200 meters last year's Paralympic Games. A couple of Pan Am silver from last time out behind Ricardo Gomez. In lane 3 for Saudi Arabia, silvers in the 1 and 2 in the last Asian Games in Hangzhou 2 years ago. He was 4th in the 100 meters final here, Ali Al Nahli. in lane 4 for Kenya. Silver in the long jump at the Paralympic Games, which has mainly been his main event. Samson Apayo, that is, and an African record in that as well. Paris a year ago. In lane 5 for Ukraine, the 400 meters world champion at the Paris Worlds in 2023, Yaroslav Okapinski. He's had some European silver in this as well once upon a time. Now, championship debut from Tigers ACs from Queensland, coached by Stacey Jarima. Here for the first time, Sam Allen. Still 18 years old, and he's Australia's top cerebral palsy sprinter. This is a top man as well, the reigning world 400 metres champion, Bartholomew de Silva. Silver in the 4 at the Paralympics last year. In the lane 8 for Namibia, 6th in the 400 at the 2023 Worlds in Paris, Petrus Kuruli. Outside, the man who holds all the current titles, the 8-time European, 10-time world, 3-time Paralympic champion, Andrei Vidovin. And he's a neutral athlete. So Sam Allen apart, who's in his first ever major championship race. Everybody has major championship medal to the names. The top 3 again to go through, and the next 2 fastest. T37 is the second strongest category of coordination impairment, basically. So Luis, Nackley, Apayo, Okapinski, Allen, de Silva, Kuruli, Vidovin. 200. Second semi-final. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now that is Samson Apayo. They were locked in place. Now hopefully that's early enough he doesn't get a red, but I kind of wonder. See, this is the far end of the track from where we are, so we don't get to hear the gun from here. We don't get to hear the call. If they've had the actual call just before the gun, then it's maybe red. Hopefully not, we'll see.
The thing for this category, though, T37s, it will be a visual call by the judge. What that means is that the start info system isn't turned on for this classification, and that's just because if it's a muscle and coordination impairment, sometimes you are going to get involuntary twitches, and that would be a little bit silly to negatively affect the start and register a movement beforehand. So it's up to the judges.
He's been disqualified, red card. So Samson Apayo is gone. That's very, very unfortunate. Well, the long jump is his best event. He'll be concentrating on now. Well, you train on the track all year. It's the big event of the year. It's a 52-week thing, largely. And then that goes and happens. That is, sport is cruel. Luis then in 2, Al Nackley 3, Okapinski 5, Allen 6, de Silva 7, Kuruli 8, Vidovin 9 in this men's 200 metres, the second semi-final. They're away this time, and Vidovin away very strongly, and de Silva is up on Kuruli as well at this stage. So Vidovin in 9, de Silva 7, looking strong. Sam Allen trying to push up for Australia on his big debut. He's doing well so far, and Al Nackley as well for Saudi Arabia. Now Luis is emerging on the far flank. It's the top 3 going through. It's going to be Luis and Al Nackley, and I'd imagine de Silva. Vidovin trying to make it. I don't think he did make it. Luis, Al Nackley and de Silva look like the 3 to me. 23:47 the winning time, unofficial, and they've taken 100th off it, and Christian Luis does take it. Al Nackley through as well, the Asian Games silver medalist. It was tight after it, but certainly visually, yep, de Silva did take that. So 2 of the 3 going through are from Brazil, and Vidovin will have a slight wait. I can tell you he's through anyway, him and Raiski. Well, Luis came very strongly that in the second half, but de Silva had done enough in the first half. First 100 to just helped Verdovin off in the end to go through.
So the T37 event is an impairment and coordination event, or an impairment and coordination event in one side of your body. And this actually has a really interesting effect, particularly when it comes to bend running, because it's very different from a straight, and you tend to have one arm that has to drive a little bit harder than the other, one side of the body having to work a little bit harder. And so depending on which side of your body is the affected side, it does make an interesting biomechanical puzzle to solve to make sure that you're able to run that corner well.
So Christian Luiz makes it for Brazil, 23.46, El Nakli second, a silver third for Brazil. And though he was run out for an automatic spot, he still gets a small queue. Andrew Verdovin is in the queue for the final. Sam Allen, well done, Oceania record for him. So 3 of the top 5 qualifiers from Brazil. They have a sweep on potentially. Gomes, Luiz, De Silva joining just off on Nakli, Verdovin, Kowski, and Rajski in that final. And Rajski, well, he scrope in, but ultimately it was to the best. Yogesh Kutunya in the men's discus F56, the second strongest of the seated throwing finals. There are a few 55s in here as well, just to note. And this is the man who's picked up silver in the discus in the last 4 global championships. Gets the white flag. He's leading right now. Belting throw of 42.49 with his second attempt. That was his 5th. All of his throws so far above 41 meters, so they all would have led. He's the 3rd to go of the 8. He does have the longest lifetime best. Claudine Batista does have the world record. Continues longest mark. Coming, there was an able-bodied element, if you like, in that, so it goes towards his lifetime best as PV, but not towards the para-athletics records. That was always the anomaly with Jason Smith. Every time he'd run, you'd have to explain why his PB, his lifetime best, was about a third of a second faster than the world record. 41.08 that was. Same story, it's a really good, consistent set of marks. There's only about 1.5 meters, not even that, between all his throws so far. This will be the last one. Kenny Pacheco, Peru in 2nd. Heidi Saputra, Indonesia 3rd. There's some good medalists to come. Claudine Batista, the reigning world and Paralympic champion. Soonest as well from Greece, the European champion. It's another belter, really. It's gone beyond 35 meters. It's close to the 45-meter line. So that is surely the longest yet. He's satisfied with it. You can always tell. Kept his balance, kept upright. But they've gone out to measure it quite close to 45, it looks. It looked past tense, 41.83. So we did go further than that. So 42.49 remains his best. Checo 2nd, Saputra 3rd. The line went well beyond. I thought it was the 40-meter line, actually 35.
We're talking of 35s. Men's 200 metres, 2:35 final. There are some athletes in this, I'll tell you. The world champion, David Zatiev, world record holder, Dmitry Safronov, the championship record holder and Paralympic champion, Ihor Svirtov also goes. He'll go in lane number 7. In lane number 2. Another student from the University of New South Wales in Australia, it is Jackson Love. He'll be in lane number 3. Artem Kalashin champion. 4, he was bronze last year at the Paralympic Games, silver in Kobe at the World Paralympics Championships, also silver back in Doha in 2015. Brazil well represented as always at these Para-Athletics World Championships. Henrique Cartano Nascimento of Brazil, also in the 100 metres. He'll go in lane number 5. Reigning world champion, neutral para-athlete David Zetiev, who took gold in Kobe last year. Lifetime best of 23:39 in lane number 6. The reigning Paralympic champion, the championship record holder from Dubai back in 2019. It is Ihor Sviatov of Ukraine. Dmitry Safronov, he's a 4-time world champion. He took silver behind Sviatov last year at the Paralympic Games. He's in lane number 8. Last but not least, in lane 9 from Argentina, lifetime best in his heat for Maximiliano Villa. So this is going to be a very decent race. World record holder, championship record holder, Paralympic champion, world champion. It's got the potential to provide us with something special. Men's 200 metres, T35 final. They jump with no issues whatsoever, and they all get away very well indeed, especially Zetiev, the reigning world champion, in lane number 6. They are flying down the outside. Safronov, who took silver in those championships, leads the way at the moment, but the 2 lanes in from him, it is Zetiev who's going to take it. Zetiev takes it. 23:01 is the time he goes across in. So that is just outside the world record, but it is inside that championship record. We'll just wait for it to be ratified and we'll see how it turns up, but it is Safronov on the outside who's taken the silver medal. Zetiev has been confirmed with that championship record time. He's taken 3/100ths of a second off the time from 2019. That was his former record 6 years ago. And Zetiev has made it back-to-back world championship golds. It's Sviatov, the Paralympic champion, who's picked up the bronze medal position, season best time for him. Zetiev, Safronov and Sviatov. He just held on at the end.
I mean, that heat was, or that final was absolutely stacked, and I can't help but wonder if Zetiev just had the advantage because he was in lane 6 and he had the other big names on his outside in lanes 7 and 8. And you might think about it and think, well, it shouldn't really matter. Every athlete's going to go out and run their hardest regardless in a 200-meter sprint, but sometimes being able to keep an eye on what your competitors are doing can be helpful. I did think perhaps Safronov would get it. He's so tall. Look, he's literally an entire head above the rest of his competitors, and having long levers like that is a huge advantage in a 200 with that stride length, but Zetiev held him on.
Well, Zetiev has made it back-to-back world championship titles and a championship record, breaking the mark from Dubai 2019. It was held by Sviatov, who took the bronze in a season best. Safronov with a silver medal, season best as well for him. Neutral para-athletes 1 and 2. Ukraine, who Sviatov picks up the bronze medal.
Up next is the men's T12 long jump final. Now, we've already seen 2 world records take place on this runway and a handful of championship records. So we know it is hot and it is fast. We have an excellent field. Unfortunately, as we just saw there, 1 DNS from Alex Jeriu. But let's meet the rest of our field. For India, Vishu, he is part of a 73-member squad, the largest contingent India has ever registered for a World Para-Athletics Championship. From Spain, Enrique Quintanilla Soriano. This is his championship debut, just 17 years old. We're going to see him in the 100 and the long jump. He didn't qualify in the heats for the 100, but another chance for more world-class level experience. Tobias Jonsson, 29-year-old from Sweden. He's a long jump specialist. Now, we didn't get to see him last year in Kobe or Paris, perhaps taking the year off with some injury, but he is back. 29-year-old from Germany, Andreas Walser. He's coming in with a season's best of 6:69 and his best placing at a World Champs, 5th place so far in Paris 2023. From Japan, Daiki Ishiyama. Now he's already been in action. He's got 2 rounds of 100-meter heats and semifinals in his legs, and he is the best sprinter in this field, which will come in handy. Ihar Sauchuk, neutral para-athlete, 21. He went out in the heats of the 100, just missing a semifinal by 2 spots. And finishing off our field, we have Fernando Vasquez. Now he is the class of this field in long jumping terms, in terms of lifetime best, but 4th at the last World Championships, 3rd at the Paralympics. And that is the runway these men will be charging down. Now you can just see that there is a much wider takeoff zone than you might usually see in a long jump, and that's because this is the T12 event. It's a visual impairment class. And having that wider takeoff zone, it's about 1 meter, just helps them with their takeoff accuracy.
Action continuing on the track, and we're back with the frame running now. These are the T72s. So these are faster than the 71s. Championship debut, but a bronze on the 4 for Piotr Siewa of Poland. He goes in lane 3, the 18-year-old. In lane 4, 4th in the 400 here. Bronze in the 1 at last year's Worlds in Kobe. Davidis Podobajevis of Lithuania. Right now, this is the man. He stormed to gold in the 4 here. He's the reigning world 100 meters champion, holds a world record for both. Carlo Calcagni of Italy. He's in 5. In lane 6, 4th and 5th in the last 2 world championships of the 100 meters for Lithuania, Arturas Plodinovis. And in lane 7 for Brazil, silver in the 1 last year in Kobe, bronze in the 1 in the previous Worlds in Paris. Marquez, Vinicius Marquez of Brazil, who was unfortunately one of the many disqualified from his semi-final, including the man who won that, Finley Menzies, of Great Britain. So it's the top 3 of the next 2 who go through to the final. This is coordination impairment, and some of these are throwers among 32, 33, so major coordination impairment. And we're away. Siewa, Podobajevis, Calcagni, Plodinovis, and Marquez. And Calcagni is away, and he is well clear. His world record, 14.92, set in Marrakesh this year. This is going to be very fast. Calcagni sets a new world record, 14.64. Podobajevis in 2nd spot, Marquez in 3rd. They're through to the final. They know the man who has to be beaten, but who will not be beaten. Carlo Calcagni, a new world record of 14.65. He won it by 3/4 of a second. Podobajevis in 2nd, Marquez in 3rd. But Calcagni, he is right now far too good. 14.65. It was almost 3 seconds clear, actually.
It's very unusual that you would see a 100-meter final or 100-meter heat won by that much. But LA 2028 has been announced that the T72 event is going to be included for the first time. Now, this is a big deal because for a lot of countries, unless an event is going to be in the Paralympics, it doesn't quite receive the same amount of funding or attention. So I suspect over the next 3 years, we are going to see a lot more athletes enter into this classification, and I don't think in the future we're going to see such large winning margins.
Sport has been around for a good few years. It wasn't organised by World Paralympics at the time. It was sent a lot in Scandinavia and Scotland, and well, new names are coming into it. What a name this man is. Kilkenny, world record, 14.65. Oliveira second for Lithuania, and Marquez third for Brazil. Plodonovas, who I may say is no plotter in this, fourth, and still a lifetime best, and he's about 3.5 seconds, 3.51 behind Kilkenny. But this is the only way that these athletes are able to race. The coordination impairment is such that what looks like the bikes, the frames, are what keeps them upright. And Kilkenny faster than the rest. Bellissima. Favourite for the final, without a doubt. If there is a hotter favourite for any title here, I'd love to see them. The only way he's not going to win the gold, I would think, in the final is if his car doesn't show up in the morning.
From Turkey.
Right back to the men's T12 long jump final. This is Janssen's first attempt.
Next up with a lifetime best of 11.64 from Iraq.
Tobias Janssen is a long jump specialist. Now he gets the white flag for that one. Now even though it is a larger takeoff zone, it's still possible to foul if your foot doesn't land fully in the zone. And we didn't get a chance to see Janssen last year in either Kobe or Paris, perhaps taking time away just to help with an injury. But he's back. The last World Championships we saw him at was in Paris 2023, where he finished 9th. What a brilliant view there of Janssen's takeoff. That is one of the most important parts of the long jump, because that is where you convert all that wonderful speed, 6 meters 17. Now, it's still early days, but he is going into the lead. We've already seen Vishu of India making his championship debut with a solid 6.11. Quintanilla Soriano, 5 meters 83. And standing on the runway, Andreas Walser of Germany. He's the best world championship placing so far of 5th, dating back to 2023.
And finally, with a lifetime best of 8.71.
6 in Kobe, 6 in Paris at the Paralympics. And a run through there. And sometimes that was what we've actually been seeing a lot of that in the long jump in the first rounds for several of these finals. Now, athletes have come out a good 40 minutes in advance of the start of the final, and they've been working with their coaches, working with their assistants to set that runway. But sometimes you get on there at the start, maybe a bit more adrenaline, and it ends up being a foul.
Second heat of the men's 100 metres T72. Race running. Field of 5 going in this one. Finley Menzies, who was disqualified in his 400 metres heat. He'll be hoping for something better in the 100 metres. We'll go in lane number 3 for Great Britain. Lifetime best of 16.68. Man who was disqualified in the 400 final from Lithuania, Igor Markov, in lane number 4. João Marques of Brazil, he took silver in that 400 metres behind Kilkenny. He'll go in lane number 5. And the Pole, who was 5th in the 400 metres, Lifetime best of 16:37. His season best in this only 17.10, so he's got some work to do. It is Wojciech Kukielka from Poland. And Sweden's Axel Colling will go in lane 7. He was 7th in that 400 metres. Top 3 who will go through to the final. And at the moment, those in the hot seat are Plotnovas and Siwa, or Lithuania and Poland respectively. 18:16 and 18:22, those 2 times. And we're away, and getting away very fast indeed was Matos of Brazil in the middle in lane number 5. He has absolutely flown out of the box. Finlay Menzies is doing his best in second position. It looks like it's going to be Kukielka who's going to be third. It is across the line, the Brazilian Matos ahead of Finlay Menzies in those top 2 positions. .15:33 the time, so it's a new South American record for the man from Brazil. He pushed out hard. Lifetime best for Menzies in second position, 16:38 for him, and season best Kukielka, the Pole, in third position, and a lifetime best for Markov at 17:41. That'll be enough for him to go through as a qualifier, but it'll be Novus will take that second place from the opening heat, so Colling will miss out with his time of 18:59, but a new America's record for the man from Brazil, João Matos, who took silver in the 400 metres as he aims to try and do something about that man Calcagni in the 100 metres.
It's a really interesting crossover between running and wheelchair racing. You can see on their feet, they're wearing sprint spikes and they use blocks at the start, and yet they also have to take time and consideration for their equipment, for their wheels. But I was watching all of them, and I have to say, those bibs that are just hanging off to the side of the frames, it's actually on the other side of this frame. I just got a quick shot of it. They're bothering me. I can't help but think this is not very aerodynamic. Obviously they can't wear them on the front of their chest because it's covered, but surely we can come up with a better position for those.
Well, there's confirmation of that heat there. Matos with a new America's record, Menzies lifetime best, Kukielka in third, the automatic qualification season best. Lifetime best for Markov in Lithuania, who takes one of those fastest qualifying positions. So what does that mean? This is what it means. Kalyani goes through the world record, and just behind him it's Matos of Brazil in second position. The qualifiers Markov and Plotnovas, one from each of the heats through to the men's 100 metres T72 final. Steph Reed is going to launch a protest about the pieces that are hanging off those frames. We shall see if it does any good. Women's shot put F54 final continues. One of the opening events of the morning, seated event, so it does take a bit of time for it to get going. I can tell you at the moment the reigning Paralympic and world champion Gloria Zaza of Mexico leads the way, a season best 7:97 with her final attempt of 6, put her into the lead. She leads Elizabeth Rodriguez, who with a championship record in the F53 category is in second position. That was 7:78, and Bogacheva third at the present time in that event. As we head back to the long jump.
As you can see, lots of action taking place on the track, and we are at the start of round 2 for the men's T12 long jump. Now while we wait for that mark to come up, one of the questions I sometimes get asked by friends who are watching, and they say, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but it doesn't look like there's anything different about them. And that's really true for this category. Often T12s, they have a vision impairment, and they found ways to use different senses. And I mean, when you watch somebody jump and launch themselves into a pit right now, you might be thinking the same thing. But just to remind everybody, a T12 athlete has limited vision in terms of a visual radius, less than 5%. And just as a different marker, so for example, these athletes might be able to see 2 meters away what somebody with normal vision would see from 60 meters away. So that just gives you the context of the kind of additional balance and proprioception these athletes have to train for. moment, Vishu is sitting in 4th position on 6 meters 11, and I will bring you that total as soon as it comes up in my computer. Jumping next from Spain, we have Quintanilla Soriano, given the white flag there. Again, with the T11 and T12 classes, we are looking at a takeoff zone. So there is a meter wide zone, and we'll get an awesome view of it just here. And you can just see the way the powder explodes, and that's really important because what that means is the officials are able to measure from exactly where the foot made a mark in the takeoff zone. 5 meters 51, no improvement for Quintanilla Soriano on that attempt. Jansson of Sweden up next. Now he comes from a very athletic family. He had the unique experience of competing with his brother, Per Jansson, both at the 2012 and 2016 Paralympics. And not only that, they actually did podium 1-2 in Grosseto, 2016 European champs. That's Jansson taking his 2nd attempt. It was actually his brother Per who came out on top. You can only imagine the kind of sibling rivalry dynamic that might add. 6:17 on his 1st attempt. You can see the way that chalk is blowing away. The really important thing is it leaves an imprint that the judges are then able to take a measure from. Interestingly, there's been a lot of talk in able-bodied athletics about introducing a takeoff zone. 6 meters 26 there. That is an improvement, and he has just taken himself ahead of Vishu. There's been a lot of talk about switching to a takeoff zone in able-bodied athletics in an attempt to reduce the number of fouls, and that's been met with a spectrum of opinion, shall we say.
We're kind of not used to it. It's kind of getting used to the idea, isn't it? Whereas over here, it's been on for a very long time.
It's a good point. It definitely was not an innovative idea, as this has been happening for a long time, but it just goes to show that one of the benefits of having the Paralympics and encouraging sport participation across a wide range of abilities can lead to that sort of innovation. But actually, the one drawback that I see, and potentially the one disadvantage to having a takeoff zone like here, is if you were to take off from the board itself it's wooden, it's very hard, and I know when I was taking off, not only does it give you a very satisfying smack, I do think you actually get more from the takeoff board, whereas these athletes are largely jumping off the track. And I do think you miss out on the ability to convert some of that power. 6 meters 81, a season's best, and Walser has just launched himself into the lead. Now, Walser has been around for a while, but his best World Championships placing is 5th. Now, obviously, it's way too early to make any conclusions. However, that is an excellent start for Walser. He'll be pleased to get a valid attempt in. Ishiyama of Japan. Foul in the 1st round. He already competed in the T12 100-meter race. Made it through the heats. Didn't make it out of the semifinals. However, he is the top sprinter in this field. He's just looking to see, yep, got the white flag. That'll be good news. He will be on the board. Now, it's a little bit hard to see as he comes down the runway just with the glare, but Ishiyama is actually wearing 2 different shoes. One is white, one is black. Now, it's an interesting shoe choice for the long jump because one of the most important things is the runway, and so naturally you'll think, okay, I will wear a pair of sprint spikes. However, when it comes to the takeoff, it's really helpful to have some additional heel padding. 6 meters 24, he has got his competition started. And so when you take off, you want to have a little bit of extra heel cushioning, because if you don't, that impact is so great, you're at the risk of possibly creating a bone bruise in your heel. So I wonder if that's why he has 2 different spikes.
So on we go, the women's 100 meters T37. This is the second strongest of the coordination impairment category standing. We've got one of the great champions in this, London 2012, Joanna Benson. Long jump champion for this week is here. Bronze of the 400 meters here as well. Very good championship debutant down the line. Here's Joanna Benson, gold in the 200 meters, London 2012, and silver in the 1. Made her a massive hero. She's been the African champion as well in the 100. Goes for Namibia in lane 3. In lane 4 for South Africa. The second World Championships medal coming, bronze on the 4 here. Cheryl James, bronze on the 4 in Tokyo 4 years ago at the Paralympic Games. But in lane 5, the reigning Asian Games, World and Paralympic champion. 17 global goals for Wen Xiaoyan of China. In lane 6 for Australia, 20 years old, from Hills District AC in Sydney, coached by Lynn Loughton. 4th in the 4, Alicia Snowden. And in lane 7 for Venezuela, bronze in the 1 at the Pan Ams in 2019, Yaskali Medina. So Benson in 3, James 4, Wen 5, Akisha Snowden in 6, Medina in 7. And Akisha Snowden also bronze medalist in the Commonwealth Youth Games back in 2017. Top 3 to go through to the final, plus the next 2 fastest. Benson 3, James 4, Wen 5, Snowden 6, Medina 7. Away the first time of asking, and Wen is away strongly, and also Cheryl James going well in second spot. Snowden fighting with Medina for 3rd to go through, but it's going to be Wen. It's going to be fastest, 13.04. James in 2nd, and I think Akisha Snowden did take 3rd there, who's done very well in a championship debut. But Wen Xiaoyan remains right now unbeatable. 4 golds in the Asian Games, 4 golds in last year's Paralympic Games, and on the story goes Wen Xiaoyan. She's top now. James and Snowden also through.
Well, that was a dominant display from Wen. Absolutely no surprise on the winner there. However, I have to say my eye was actually drawn to Snowden. The way that she was seeing Wen at the moment, but in a moment you will see Snowden. She was the athlete in the green, and the way that she clawed back in those final 30 meters of the race and just managed to sneak into that auto qualifier, that was impressive. And I have to say, throughout the past few days, I keep seeing these young Australians, these teenagers, 20-year-old Snowden there, and I can't help but think Australia is making a very concerted effort to develop and nurture this young talent, making sure they are ready for 2032.
Wen, James and Akisha Snowden all qualify for the final. Medina will have to wait, the Pan Am's bronze medalist, and Joanna Benson. I mean, she was a great champion, a memorable champion in London. Namibia's first goals at the Paralympics.
On the runway now is Vishu of India. He's already had a fantastic start to his championship debut with a personal best, will match his personal best of 6 meters 24. In the men's T12 event, the athletes are allowed to have an assistant with them on hand just to set up their runway. Sometimes having them stand at the end and make a noise, a clapping or a shouting, just letting the athlete know where they are on that runway. You just Bishu there getting some feedback from his coach. 6 meters 17. Bishu will remain in 5th position, courtesy of that personal best. Quintanillo Soriano of Spain, just 17 years old. Championship debut. We've already seen him in the 100 meters. Wasn't able to get out of the heat, but this is another chance to build that all-important World Championship experience. As you watch the athletes, you'll get a sense for the different styles and the different in-air positions. So really you have 3 to pick from. You've got a hang, you've got a sail, and you've got a hitch kick. Quintanillo Soriano there putting on a display of what the sail looks like. And I wouldn't really say there's a right or a wrong way to do it. A lot of it is just dependent on what the athlete naturally does. The coach will then work to perfect that, and sometimes it evolves. As you generate more speed and more power, you're generating more rotational forces. 6 meters and 3. That is a big improvement for Quintanillo Soriano. However, he will stay in 7th place.
Second heat of the women's 100 metres T37 coordination impairment category. 5 slated to go in this, and all 5 of them have lined up to start. Including Taylor Swanson, who was the silver medalist at the Paralympic Games last year, also the silver medalist at the World Paralympic Championships in Kobe, which preceded those Paralympic Games. She'll go in lane number 3. These are gals in 5th in the 400 hill, already at these championships, 5th in the long jump. Their international debut came back in 2013 in Lyon. She will go in lane 4. Victoria Slanova, silver here, over 400 metres already at these championships. The neutral para-athlete will go in lane number 5. Neve McAllister, 6 fouls in the long jump. This is her first major championships for the 20-year-old. She'll be hoping for better in this 100-metre race. It's all one big learning curve and experience. And this lady here picked up silver in the long jump though from Mauritius. And Ace Angeline in lane number 7. So as per the opening heat, the first 3 will automatically qualify. And then we shall be looking for
On your mark.
those to go through who missed out on automatic qualification. 14.18 for Medina. Funky cold run for her in the first one. And Benson, 14.99. They're the 2 heat times at the moment, which have to be beaten.
Set.
So they all jump well. Gals especially got out well, but Swanson has made up that ground and she is out in front. Taylor Swanson leads at the moment from Victoria Slanova. It's Gals in 3rd position, but it's going to be Taylor Swanson who just eases up and takes it on the line. 13.71 is the time she goes through in. Slanova and Gals also going through as the automatic qualifiers. It's been ratified at 13.72 for Taylor Swanson. Slanova and Gals also go through, and then we'll just be waiting. Season best for Slanova, 14.10 for her. And Gals in 3rd position. Season best time of 14.29 for her. McAllister in 14.85 in 4th position, and she does qualify and go through. And that will mean also from the opening heat, it will be Medina who goes through Venezuela. But Taylor Swanson, she looked ever so strong.
This is a T37 category, which means a muscle and coordination impairment on one side of your body. And what these athletes have to do is that you just have to have a core that is so strong that it can handle the different forces that are going through your body. And that's what really impressed me about Swanson. She just looks so smooth, but what a way for McAllister to come back with qualification in the final.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see disappointment in that long jump for the 20-year-old Australian, and she's come back, finished in 4th position and qualified as we head back to the long jump final.
Now on that long jump runway, the athletes are running in the opposite direction to the 100-meter final, which is unusual because usually you set them up in the same way so that they have the benefit of the wind, but there really hasn't been that much wind so far in the stadium. It's brilliantly designed in that it is actually quite smooth in terms of having anything in your face. Now that I've said that, I'm sure we're going to have a big gust, but who knows, we'll see.
It's pretty rare, isn't it? You come to a championships and there hasn't been any fluctuations as such majorly on the headwind affected any of the world records or championship records that have been broken, and it hasn't really affected the athletes at all. There's a windsock down there which has barely moved throughout these championships, so it's been quite stable.
Yeah, a sign of a really well-designed stadium, although personally, I think surely we can design a stadium with, you know, a tailwind around 300 meters in the right direction. That would be quite lovely. If you're new to track and field, one of the considerations for the field events, for the sprints, is they do take a wind measurement, because sometimes if you've got a massive gust behind you, it can mean that total, it doesn't qualify for a world record, but obviously still qualifies within the competition. Okay, I'm going to update you on a few results there. That is Ishiyama just chatting with his coach. Not sure that we showed it, but he has just jumped 6 meters 34 and is sitting in 4th place. And the athlete we just saw on the runway was Sauchuk, neutral para athlete. In round 2, jumped 6 meters 65, currently sitting in bronze, but we'll see if that has been an improvement for Sauchuk. While we wait for that result, Vasquez is ready to go on the runway. Class of the field in the long jump in terms of lifetime best. However, he was 4th at the last World Championships. So close to that podium. Of course the takeoff matters, and you can see there the way Vasquez just launches himself into the air. So important to get that angle right as you convert all of that horizontal speed into distance. Typically for long jumpers, you're looking at a takeoff angle of around about 20, so you get that balance between height and distance into the pit. This isn't high jump. You don't want to go too high. You're not going to get credit for it in terms of distance. But it all starts with the power generated on that runway. It is your speed that sets the ceiling in terms of your potential for distance. .674, the best total so far for Vasquez, but that jump looked good, and just wait for that result to come up. I can let you know the athlete before him, Sauchuk, 6:05, so he stays in 3rd place. Vasquez looking to protect his silver medal and give him a little bit more buffer. And I can tell you it is 6 meters 79, a season's best for Vasquez.
Just a quick update on the women's shot put F54 final, which is finished. Gloria Zaza has retained her World Championship gold. She has taken victory, season best 7:97. Championship record for Elizabeth Rodriguez. She's in F53. She picked up the silver. And Salehi of Iran has made it a 2nd bronze for Iran at these championships. A season best 7.17 for her. It's a 2nd bronze of these championships for Iran after Aminola Papi in the men's javelin throw a couple of days ago. So victory there for Gloria Zaza, the Paralympic world champion. She retains that title.
And the reigning world and Paralympic champion Claudia Batista's hit the front of the men's discus F56. That is 45.67. Continues second for India, 45.49. And soonest of Greece, 39.97. As we go to a new event, this is men's shot put F41. This is the category of short stature, and those of shorter stature still are F40. We're quite deep into this, as you can see. We're in round 3. Sun in 7th spot, but it is the great Nico Capel who's leading the way. A man who has been very difficult to beat for very many years for Germany. He's medalled in each of the last 3 Paralympics. He's the reigning world champion. As we watch young Ji-sung for Korea, currently lying 4th, creditably so as well. His best today, 10.67, and he'll get the white flag, which is good news from his point of view. Same mark again, 10.67, went in the same spot. Decent going. So next up, the neutral athlete. Al Sivtsev. So he's currently in the bronze medal position through 11.95 in the opening round. He's still only 22 years old, so he's really only ever competed as a neutral athlete. He's not the youngest in the field either. 11.95 is best in the opening round. 12.10 is lifetime best from earlier this year. It's 11.61, which is the second best of his run to date. It's Nico Capel who leads, 13.34. As we go to another final on the track, the men's 100 metres, T44. And because this has been separated from the 64s, those with prosthetics, these do not have, in terms of the below knee amputee category. Karim Ramadan is the first to go, world silver, he's in lane 2. It's happened to him twice that he's managed to get that mark. Listen Siapo of France, he's in lane 3, 4th in the Paralympic Games, the 100 metres. Bronze in the long jump in the most recent Euros in 2021. Marco Cicchetti, 4th in the 100 in the Worlds in Paris in 2023. A couple of championship debutants on the way, and 5 for Saudi Arabia. This is Naif Al Masrahi. He's 35 years old. And in lane 6 for Ukraine, 20-year-old championship debutant Pavlo Kaplan. In lane 7, 21 years old, bronze in the World Championships of the 100 in Paris 2 years ago, Matthias de Lima. In lane 8, neutral athlete, 5th in the 1 at the Worlds last year in Kobe, silver in the 4 of the last Europeans 4 years ago, Dmitry Matevis. And in lane 9, championship debut for Serbia, is only 18, Dusan Knezovic. Quite a few of these being championship debutants because the 44s and the 64s were together before, so there was less opportunity to succeed. That's why we're seeing a lot of new names in this, including one inadvertent new name, but Dmitry Bartoshevich has been one before. As opposed to the other fella. There's only 4 in this field who've won major championship medals before. It's Ramadan in 2, Siapo in 3, Cicchetti in 4, Al-Masrahi in 5, Kaplan 6, de Lima 7, Bartoshevich in 8, and Knezovic in 9. Final of the men's 100 metres.
Set.
T44. Oh dear, no, Ramadan went, and that's going to be red just before the gun. And the man who has a World Championship silver.
Behind your mark, please.
It's the best medal that anybody in this field has. He would have been easily one of the favourites for gold, and he knows that, and he knows his chance is surely gone. He went before the gun. Open and shut case, I'm fair to say, and there can only be one thing coming.
Oh, it's so disappointing for Ramadan. And again, with this category, the pressure plates, the start information system is turned off, so it will be a decision, a visual decision made by the official.
And the card is coming out. And Ramadan, well, he's pointing to the blocks, but he doesn't have much wiggle room, I'm afraid to say, and he's being applauded off. He may well have won the gold here. This might have been his best chance. Now that this is back totally separate again to the 44s. This is what Irmgard Ben Susan's category was, and she was racing against the 64s all the time and winning lots of medals, but Karim Ramadan gets the red card. And I'm sorry to say it could only be that. I mean, there's some which are, there was one in Tokyo. You remember it's .1, you have to go outside of the gun, and in Tokyo at the other World Athletics Championship somebody was .099. They did keep her in, which was good, but anyway, that was open and shut. So here we go again. Siapo in 3, Kachetti European bronze medalist 4, Al Masri 5, Kaplan 6, De Lima World bronze 7, and they're away, and it's a great start by De Lima here. He's flying. Al Masrahi is coming up on him, and I think he's going to get the gold for Saudi Arabia. He is. El Masrahi wins it, De Lima second, Kaplan third, and Saudi Arabia take the title. 10.94 is a new world record, I make it. Yes, it is. He smashed it. The mark that lasted 6 years to the great Empu Malelo Malongo. That is now history. De Lima inside the world record as well for a new America's mark, and Kachetti has made it up for third. 11.46. But what a sensational win. He did just keep Kaplan on the line. A magnificent win on his championship debut for Naif Al Masrahi. 10.94, and that was blistering. De Lima with that time. He would have expected to have gotten the gold, but he did not. And it is Naif Al Masrahi who takes the title and the world record for Saudi Arabia.
Al Masrahi did so well to maintain his focus, maintain his nerve. It can be so off-putting when you have that kind of drama at the start, when an athlete who potentially could be challenging for the medal suddenly gets out of the race, and you just see here, what a start from De Lima. But Al Masrahi, not worried. Look at him there, just trusting his top end speed. He's not straining. Just towards the end, he's getting a little bit tense and thinking about that lead, but what a finish. And the thing with the T44 athletes that you have to keep in mind, so it is a lower leg impairment. Now, when you are running, it is all about being able to have a symmetrical stride to glide you through. Each time those feet touch down, alternately, you are getting different forces through the ground. Your body has to compensate somewhere, and the only way that's possible if you just simply get stronger. Brilliant running from Al Masrahi.
He came into this with a lifetime best of 10.04 set this year, which is fast. Bad news for Ramadan that he got disqualified. Al Masrahi, 0.06 of a second inside the world record, takes gold for Saudi Arabia. De Lima silver for Brazil, an America's record for him. Kachetti gets the bronze for Italy. Kaplan just edged out by 300. Visually, as if he might have just got it, but Kachetti instead.
We are in the fourth round of the men's T12 long jump, and so far the leaderboard looks the same. On the runway right now is Vasquez. 6 meters 79, his best so far. Oh, you could just see him getting a toe onto the back end of that takeoff zone. And that takeoff zone is the reason why we have to wait patiently to get a gauge for how far the athletes are jumping. We don't have the meter markers on the side of the pit because they wouldn't be that accurate, because there's a huge range in terms of the takeoff positions for the athletes. All the athletes in this field, especially Vasquez, will know that it is wide open and there is a massive opportunity here. Gold and silver medalists from Paris 2024 are not here. 6 meters 88, that is an improvement for Vasquez. He just keeps adding on to his total bit by bit, and now he has overtaken Walser, the athlete on the runway now. Walser had 6 meters 81. Vasquez is now in front by a mere 7 centimeters. Sayed Najafazad of Azerbaijan, not here, Paralympic champion. Oh, and you can just see there, he got that runway all wrong, and I'm just watching him now as he's walking. There was a slight limp as he came out of the pit, but I think he's fine. I don't think that's going to be an issue. It's hard when you see someone take that lead from you. One, you want to give it a little bit more effort, but also as a visually impaired athlete, you don't always have the depth perception or perhaps the awareness of where the board is, and on that instance, it just didn't feel right, which means that you can't risk it and you can't take off. That runway is so important, and that's why you see all those little colored markers with numbers on them. Each athlete has their own number and their own color. Trust, so important in this event. And trust in 2 ways. One, you have to trust your runway. It's an event that asks you to charge at full speed down the runway and then launch yourself into a pit and hold on. And you need to know that you can attack it and give it your best and not worry about steering. But particularly for these athletes, trust in their guides. Some of them are reliant to more or less extent on how the guides set them up. Some of them will still use their guides in this category to clap or help create noise for them, to help keep them in the right direction without any sort of visual cues. 5 meters 84. Quintanilla Soriano will stay in 7th position. Paralympic debut, sorry, not Paralympic debut, World Championship debut for the 17-year-old. For India last night in the men's javelin, and it's a really great sign, because when you witness your teammates having that sort of success, it's inspiring, it's infecting. Vishu has already come out and opened with a personal best, 6 meters 24, which is a great way to start. Great shot there of that transition step that you take as you build up that runway, and you then have these 2 steps coming into the board where you prepare that body for the takeoff. It's a vertical impulse. 6 meters 18. No change for Vishu. Now really it's that vertical impulse that is able to convert all that wonderful speed into distance. It's very specific, very technical movement. Tobias Johnson currently finds himself in 5th position. He came in with the longest season's best 6 meters 89, and at the moment he is well down on that. This is the only event he's competing in. A few of the athletes in this final competing in both the 100-meter sprints and the long jump. Speed is pretty handy across both. Well, he has one of the longest runways going in this final. Typically, you'll see athletes take about 20 to 22 steps. Unlike the 100 meters, it doesn't really matter how fast you get up to speed. All that matters is that by the time you get to the board, you're at your max speed. Get a view there of the athletes all crammed together, sitting side by side with your competitors as you prepare in between the jumps. It can be kind of awkward. You all know you're fighting for the same thing, sitting beside each other in the same space. Some athletes are more chatty than others. Some athletes will try to get in your head. Some athletes prefer to be quite quiet. Sometimes psychology and mind games come into it.
What did you do?
Do you know what I found the most off-putting thing possible was just to project supreme confidence very quietly. Ishiyama getting the crowd involved. Now, sometimes in the visually impaired events we need to have silence because the athletes are listening to their guide, but in this instance he is asking the crowd, get behind me, get clapping. I want an extra boost as I come down this runway. Ishiyama is the fastest sprinter in this field. He finished in second place in Kobe at the World Championships. He was 5th in Paris, currently sitting in 4th position. He'll need a mark beyond 6 meters 65 to displace Sauchuk. 6 meters 50. It's an improvement. $15 more centimeters required, and he'll only have one more jump to do it.
Decent morning. Claudia Batiste still leads that discus throw at 56, 45 and 67 as we go back to the track.
Up now, the men's 400 meters, T38, round 1, heat 1. And in this heat, we have the former Paralympic champion and the new Paralympic champion. Jaden Blackwell, USA, watch out for him. World record holder, Paralympic champion, world champion. Let's introduce you to the field. Jose Chesani, he was the Paralympic champ back in Tokyo. He was setting the standard 4 years ago, but as often happens, the rest of the world has come back at him. In lane number 8, Akira Nandan Benathu, making his world championship debut for India, just 18 years old, and he is going to be up against some of the greats in this event. From Greece, Alexandros Diamantis Skortis, also making his debut. 400 meter, 1500 meter, that is a tough double to do. Two very different energy systems happening there. Now, you know you are a big deal when you have your own day named after you, but that is what happened for Zachary Gingras. Mayor of Markham, his hometown, declared August 31st Zach Gingras Day. Jaden Blackwell, just 21, the athlete who has absolutely changed the face of this event. He's looking for for another gold to add to the 100-meter crown he's already won, just 21. Blackwell looking for his third World Championship title. Cooper Rob Jackson of Australia, just 17, also making his global debut. Half the field making their global debut. He says he loves the dopamine hit of the 400 meters, which is one way to put the pain all of these athletes are going to be feeling as they come down that home straight. Keep an eye out in lane 5 for Jaden Blackwell. We know he has excellent 100-meter speed. He has the advantage of keeping his eye on Chisani of Mexico out in lane 9. Just get a sense of the spring and power in Blackwell's legs as he leaps above those starting blocks. Athletes just settling in for round 1 here. And we have a clean start, which is great news, as we've had a few disqualification troubles early on, and you can just see there. Benathu is not hanging around. He has gone out hard, already up on Chisani, Paralympic champion from Tokyo. But take a look at Jaden Blackwell with the white headband in the center. He looks very relaxed, but don't be fooled. Relaxed running is fast running. And as the stagger unwinds, as the athletes come through, just 100 meters to go, he is well clear. First 3 in each heat, and the next 2 fastest athletes there fighting for that automatic qualifying spot. Just see Benathu looking to hold on. Jaden Blackwell casually coming across the line there. We had Squirtus in for second place and Benathu just behind him. Well, 49.05. Jaden Blackwell making that easy, literally sauntering across that line. And a European record for Squirtus. That is the benefit of running against the best. Sometimes you will just get dragged to an incredibly fast time, and wow, what a time to do a personal best. Benathu of India guaranteeing a spot in that final with that big Q. And the rest of the athletes will have to wait for this second heat to take place to see if they're through. And well done to Rob Jackson, just 17. World Championship debut, going home with a personal best. Get a shot here of Blackwell. I mean, look at that. The brakes are on casually across the line there, and still a fantastic time. Now, his world record sits at 48.26, which is crazy considering that he's taken almost a second off this world record from when it stood back in Tokyo 2021. Well, you see the athletes with the big Q beside their name taking their fate into their own hands. 49.05 from Blackwell, pretty easy win for him, but great job by second and third, setting a European record and a personal best, and of course, for Rob Jackson, 17-year-old. Definitely will not be one of the fastest qualifiers, but always worth celebrating a personal best. And we're back to the men's T12 long jump, and we are now in the closing stages of this competition. They take a while, but you have to keep watching. You have to stay with it because that winning jump can come at any moment. Already, Vishu has equaled his personal best, 6 meters 24. Can he improve on that and work up the standings? long jump and bring you that result. One of the reasons why athletes like to take off their long jump spikes immediately is because they are often full of sand, and it's very uncomfortable. Life as a long jumper is removing sand consistently from your house and from your clothing. No improvement there for Vishu, registering at 6 meters 07. He will stay in 6th place, going home with a personal best. Now you can't help but wonder if so far this is a missed opportunity from Janssen. He has come in with a season's best of 6 meters 89. One final chance to use that form and see if he can get himself onto the podium. Well, his foot was well within that takeoff zone. It has been given the white flag, but will it be enough? He's sitting right now in 5th place with 6 meters 26. Bronze. Currently sitting at 6 meters 65. So much at stake here for these athletes. You train so much for so long, 6 meters 22. It's not going to be enough to improve. You train so hard for so long, and the reality in para-athletics is that you only get one moment often on the world's biggest stage each year to make it happen. Footballers get to play every weekend, but so much pressure on this one competition, this one moment. Nishiyama will know what's at stake right now, sitting in 4th position, 6 meters 50. Nishiyama has improved across the rounds. 650, his best result being delivered in attempt number 5, and he currently sits just 15 centimeters off that podium. He is the best sprinter in that field. Can he put that to good use? And of course, it's hard to make predictions as we don't have those meter markers on the side, but you just get a sense, both from the body language, but just from the takeoff. You can just see a little bit of slowing happening. One of the athletes that chooses to use the hitch kick in the air. The thing is, once you take off, you can't add anything to your jump. All you can do is take away from it. And all of those different in-air positions, the way you use your limbs is simply to control those rotational forces. By 6 meters 58, he's improved again. He's had such a brilliant series just working through, and yet he is still going to finish 7 centimeters short.
We'll get the full wrap on that in a moment or two's time, but it's the second heat, the men's 400 metres T38. They've been patiently waiting for the long jump to continue, and they are ready to go. A field of 6 going in this one as the weather is slightly closing in, a bit of a breeze picking up, and the overcast conditions may promise a little bit of rain in the couple of hours following. You can just see the clouds coming in overhead, but it won't bother this one. Ulrich Muller, who's already competed in the 100 metres here, he was 8th in the final from Australia, will go in lane number 9. He's just 19 years of age. Ryan Medrano, who's won silver here in the 100 already, he's the Pan American Games champion, won silver in Kobe last year and in Paris behind Jaden Blackwell, will go from lane number 8. The Cypriot, Andreas Beros, lifetime best set this year, 56.88. He will go in lane number 7. "29 years of age from Colombia. It is Jose Ramirez who will go in lane number 6. Yasiel Torres, he's an accomplished musician. Lifetime best is set in the 100 metres. He'll go in lane number 5. Now this man was doing the park run just a year ago. He's now representing his country at the World Paralympic Championships. He's also going the 1500 metres. He studies economics at the Australian National University. It is Ben Eppelston in lane number 4. Those hot seat times, by the way, Gingras 51.11 and Chessiani 52.17 are the 2 times that need to be beaten for those who finish outside the top 3 who automatically qualify. So Muller in 9, Medrano in 8, Ferros in 7, Ramirez in 6, Torres in 5, and Eccleston goes in lane number 4. Second heat of the men's 400 metres T38 coordination impairment category is underway, and Ryan Medrano, as you would expect, has flown out from lane number 8, gone straight past Ulrich Muller of Australia and into the lead. It is the first 3 who automatically qualify. A bit further in from Colombia, Ramirez is looking very strong indeed down that back straight with about 200 metres or so to go. It's Ramirez up there with Medrano. Medrano just taking his time, easing around that last 150 metres or so. The top 3 automatically will go through it at the moment. Both Ramirez and Medrano are looking strong. Ulrich Muller has put in a brilliant effort. He's seen Medrano and he's just gone with him. And at the moment it looks like Ulrich Muller, the youngster from Australia, 19 years of age, is going to go through in 3rd place. And it's going to be Ramirez, who has just been pipped on the line, I think, by Medrano, who's gone across. It doesn't matter which order, they're both through, Medrano and Ramirez, and Muller has gone through in 3rd place. It is Medrano in a time of 50.13 who has taken it, so perhaps just for a bit of psychology, he wanted to get across and take that 1st place. He goes through. There was no doubt whatsoever about the 3 that were going to go through, though. They pretty much held their positions all the way through. The starting pistol through to the end. Lifetime best, by the way, for young Ulrich Muller of 51.21 for him. So we now just wait to see who is going to go through as those fastest qualifiers, and both are going to go through from the opening heat. It's going to be Gingras and Chessiani, because Ben Eccleston in 4th position, 55.09. That's quite a distance outside what we have. Torres Lopez in 5th place for Puerto Rico. Medrano, Muller and Ramirez had it wrapped up pretty much from the 200 metre mark.
Yeah, both Medrano and Ramirez, they got out really fast, which is what you want to do, but I really enjoyed watching Medrano. I was thinking, do you know what, it's fine, I can finish in 2nd, no problem. And then, no, do you know what, I don't like losing, I'm just going to have to take this with a fantastic roll to start. I mean, just look, he's leaning forward, he clearly wants the win here, and just loses his footing, which is understandable. It's the end of a 400 meters, takes him full of lactic.
That's a great form.
His form is impeccable, I think it is very impressive.
I was expecting him to wait for him to get up the other end and give us the finger guns as well, just to make it look like he did it on purpose. It doesn't matter, Medrano is through, as is Jose Ramirez in 2nd place. Ulrich Muller, lifetime best for him, 51.21. The rest at the end of their 400 metres of these championships.
If he'd done that, he'd have been too keen.
The good news is that they have held the men's T12 long jump final, so we could catch this jump live, and there is a reason. We've had a big move. Sauchek of neutral para athletes has just displaced Walser from the silver medal position. So Walser now guaranteed to be on the podium, guaranteed a bronze medal, but he will want to defend that silver that was so nearly his. Now, it's been a rough series for Walser. 3 fouls, a pass in round 5, but that 1:6.81 from the 2nd round, keeping him in it. Now, Sauchek leapfrogged in front of him with 6:89 in the final round. Has Walser been able to find a few more centimeters? No. He will stay in 3rd place, but that wind reading actually was very interesting, because in the past 10 minutes it really has just picked up. You can see it visually with the different flags flying around, and so maybe a little bit of an opportunity here for some of the athletes in this final stage to capitalize on a pretty handy tailwind. Fernandez Fernando Vasquez already knows he is the world champion, just 25 years old, 696. This is a glory jump for the crowd. That did look good. A lot of speed generated on that runway. A solid takeoff. It's been given the white flag. He can already celebrate. He already knows he has won the title, but he still has his eye on what that distance was. He's improved as he's gone along. Could he have gotten over that 7 meter mark? High fives all around from the athletes. He's draping himself in this flag. This is Argentina's first gold medal at these World Championships. Now he came in, class of the field, 7 meters and 1. He did it. He already had the gold medal, and I think it's so impressive anytime a field event athlete is able to do that. You already know that you won. Part of you is wanting to celebrate and just be finished, and instead he was able to focus because he knew he still had more left, and he didn't want to finish off the season without getting in that 7 meter territory, and this really was a fantastic performance. He came in with a season's best of 6 meters 78, able to find that 7 meter form when it mattered the most. This is that jump that launched him over the 7 meter mark. He was 4th at the last World Championships in Kobe. Had a taste of what it's like to stand on that podium at the Paris Paralympics, picking up the bronze. But now, for the first time, he has a World Championship title. First for his country here. Well done, Fernando Vasquez. And how lucky are we that they held that long jump final so we could see it live. Fernando Vasquez of Argentina picking up Argentina's first gold medal here with a massive 7 meter plus jump. Sowchuk able to deliver the final round as well with 689, just pipping Walser for the silver medal.
So the final of the men's 400 meters T54, the fastest of the wheelchair races. It's always exciting in this. And we've got 7 major championship medalists who are to the fore. Start off in lane 9, 5th in the 100 metres at the Paralympic Games last year for Portugal, Mamudo Balde. In lane 8, the reigning Paralympic champion, the reigning world champion over 800 for China, Dai Yongkang. 3 medals in Paris last year, 3 in Kobe. In lane 7 for Thailand, the former World and Paralympic 100 metres champion, still the Asian Games champion in this, Atiwat Painua. In lane 6 for Tunisia, bronze on the 4 in the 2016 Paralympic Games, 3-time former world champion Yassim Garbi. In lane 5 for Great Britain, the Commonwealth Games 1500 metres champion, bronze in the 8 in the Worlds in Kobe last year, European champion 2018 for Nathan Maguire. In lane 4 for Saudi Arabia, 8th in the 100 metres in the last Asian Games in Hangzhou 2 years ago. He's only 18, Al-Bara Al-Karni. In lane 3 for China, the reigning 400 metres world champion, 2 in a row, Asian Games Universal Relay champion, as it was the case in the Paralympics for Hu Yang. And in lane 2 for Australia, bronze in the 1500 and the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham in 2022, Sam Carter. 8th in the 400 in the Worlds last year, Carter was, and he was in for the federal elections in Australia as well. Originally a Queenslander based in the capital Canberra now. So Carter 2, Hu 3, Alkane 4, Maguire 5, Garbi 6, Painua 7, Dai 8, Balde 9. Final of the men's 400 metres T54. And they're away, first time Pangnua with 2 global golds to his name. Balde's away impressively in 9, but he's not the fastest in the field by any stretch of the imagination. He was disqualified in the 4 at the Paralympic Games, but he's taking this one on well, Balde for Portugal. Now Pangnua beginning to move up for Thailand, and Maguire in 3rd space for Britain. Dai, the Paralympic champion, moving up in 4th and looking to pounce. He's fallen back a little bit. Pangnua is gliding well at the moment, and Garbi, the former world champion, he's going well alongside him in the lane. And now Garbi's moving up ahead of Pangnua. It's Garbi, it's Pangnua, it's Dai. That's the 1, 2, 3. Dai trying to move up, but Garbi's made it! Yassim Garbi takes the gold for Tunisia. Pangnua the silver. Dai Yongkang gets the bronze for China. And for the first time in 6 years, Yassim Garbi is the world champion for Tunisia. He took the 4 in 2019 in Dubai. He'd won it in London along with the 2, and those were his most recent world championship medals, his most recent medals at all. He took bronze in the 4 in the Rio Paralympic Games. He's been just outside since then, but not anymore. Yassim Garbi's heading to the top of the podium. Garbi the gold, Pangnua the silver, and Dai Yongkang gets the bronze.
There was a time when Yassim Garbi was the class of his field, and so often you see this in para events. Then there was a little bit of a quiet period from him, and now once again Garbi is world champion, and that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see a really, really healthy, competitive class racing against. And the thing with Yarbi Gassin, okay, his personal best, 43.46. He was coming into this with season's best of 45.59. Sometimes it is a little bit hard to gauge those totals coming in. A lot of it's so dependent on what surface you were racing in. But the thing with the 400 meters is that this really is a contest of who has the fastest top end speed. And for me, Garbi is just untouchable. Now just watch as he's coming around. We've spoken a little bit about the mechanics for wheelchair racing, and the thing with the men's T54 category, they do have full control of their trunk, and so you just see the way he's getting his core into it, using those abdominals and just putting so much power into those wheels. He's got the hand speed, he's got the power. There's just not much he can do about this for the rest of his competitors.
I should tell you, the results actually haven't come up. The live score hasn't come up. The winning time was 44.96, but nothing else has come up on that. Garbi winning it, Pangnua second, Dai third. Nathan Maguire was fourth in that. But at the moment, everybody's results blank. And Maguire, he was out to the medals a little bit. He wasn't really challenging Dai. Dai was challenging Pangnua for the silver medal very well indeed. But Pangnua held on. Yassim Garbi, well, that is tremendous stuff for Tunisia. An excellent win for him. To be suitably impressed at how well he has done. It's getting very dark here now, isn't it? It's 11:18 on a Tuesday morning in New Delhi, day 4, the morning session.
I think we almost have to have the lights on soon if we continue on for another half an hour or so of this session.
Not far off it. I can tell you, Nico Capel, by the way, he has indeed hung on to that shot put F41. So he is world champion for a third time, finishing ahead of the man who's taken the last couple of crowns, Biran Omanov of Uzbekistan. Omanov with the silver. And on a championship debut, the 22-year-old, the neutral athlete we saw him throw earlier, Ayal Sivtsev gets the bronze, and Jung Ji-song, he is fourth. Now, hopefully we've a bit of footage of that coming up. We've got the result coming up of the 400 T54. Garbi, championship record, 44.96. He gets the gold for Tunisia. Pangnua the silver for Thailand, and Dai the bronze for China. Maguire 4, and after that brave start, Mamadou Balde finishes in 5th, just as he did in the Paralympic Games in Paris.
You can see the breeze has picked up as well.
Men's discus is wrapped up, and Claudine Batista has another gold to his name. That makes him a 4-time world champion and a 7-time lone world champion. As we always say, there is a separate field feed that's available depending on your territory, and in some countries on YouTube as well. So watch out for that. We try and bring you the best in the field here as well.
Well, it's still 31 degrees. The warmth is still there. The wind speed has picked up a little bit. It's just got darker as we come towards the end of this morning session on day 4 here, the 2025 World Paralympics Championships in New Delhi. Bright sunshine for the opening 3 days and most of the morning, but it's just darkened up somewhat. There is a small chance of rain expected over the coming days. I was having a look a moment or two ago, next couple of hours, 10 or 15% chance of rain here, so we may well get some. Final race on the track for the morning session on day 4 is the men's 400 metres T20 final. 3-time world champion Daniel Martins goes in this. He only made it as a lucky loser, fastest qualifier. The Paralympic champion John Abando Esprilla pulled out in the heat with an injury. Done very well again. Top of the standings with 5 golds, 9 silvers and 2 bronzes, the Brazilians so far, just ahead of the Chinese. Those two nations you always expect to be up near the top of the standings. Portugal always well represented at the Paralympics Championships, whether it be Europeans, Worlds, Paralympics. Have one in this as well. Alvin Nomleni of Indonesia, the 23-year-old, lifetime best in the heat. He was silver at the Asian Para Games in 2023. He'll go in lane number 9. Idris Sabiani of Saudi Arabia, haven't they had a morning? This man, lifetime best for him in his heat. He'll go in 8. Delabert Rodriguez, silver medalist in Doha in 2015, bronze medalist in London in 2017. He'll be looking to getting amongst the medals here. All the Spaniard, who's in lane 7. Charles-Antoine Kouakou of France, silver medalist back in the Europeans in 2021. He won Paralympic gold in Tokyo 2020 in lane number 6. Silver medalist from last year's Paralympic Games. It is David Pineda, championship record in the heat. That man from Spain. Mohamed Nur Azmi of Malaysia, bronze medalist in Kobe last year in lane number 4. The 18-year-old, his first major championships, Daniel Antonio of Portugal in lane number 3. And the man who scraped in, finishing 4th in his heat. Gold medalist at 3 World Championships in 15, 17 and 19. Also the Paralympic champion in 2016 in his home Paralympics. It is Daniel Tavares Martins in lane number 2. So no Paralympic champion. John Abando Esprilla, who pulled out after about 50 metres of his heat with injury. Brazilian Daniel Tavares Martins, 3-time world champion, is going to have to improve and up his game from that opening heat where he just scraped through. He wants to make it 4 world championships. They're away, and it really has darkened in the last 60 seconds or so as they get away in this T20 intellectual impairment men's 400 metres final. Nomleni got out fast from his lane. He took the lead down there. He's got a little bit out in front, but they'll work their way through. Nur Azmi's looking strong there coming through in lane number 4, the man from Malaysia. But as they work through that first 200 metres, and the outside Alpha Nomleni, the 23-year-old from Indonesia, has held his form, but he's going to get caught up now as they come into the final 100 metres. Moving around, it's the man from Spain, Pineda, who was a silver medalist in 2024, championship record in the heat. He has the lead. Can he hold off Tavares Martins on the inside? He does that. It is Pineda who takes the victory, 47.11. He's broken his own championship record by my reckoning that he set just yesterday in qualifying. 47.12 it's been rounded up to. David Pineda of Spain has picked up a World Championship gold medal here in New Delhi. Self-medalist at the Paralympic Games last year. Well, Tavares Martins, the three-time world champion, has picked up silver, a much better race than he did in his heat. And Sufyani, the man from Saudi Arabia who set a lifetime best in his heat, he set another lifetime best here and has taken bronze. What a morning session it's been for the Saudis. Spain, Brazil, Saudi Arabia in that order. Championship record for Pineda, who takes the gold medal in the men's 400 metres T20 final.
What a race to finish the morning off of. Now the clouds have come in and it's a very dark, dramatic atmosphere, which is absolutely perfect for this race. And I mean, Pineda put out all the warning signs in his heat when he laid down that championship record. And the thing for this race was it was perfect in terms of pacing. When you want to set up an ambulance 400 meters, you use that first 50 to 70 meters. They call it sometimes the velocity zone. And then as you go down the back straight, you're cruising. And by cruising, I don't mean that you are slowing down. I just mean that you're maintaining that speed as efficiently as possible. And the thing is, in this race, Pineda was never actually in the lead until about the 300-meter mark. We had this amazing tussle from Pineda and Tavares down the home straight. You can see them there together. You know, it feels good when you've had to work hard for a championship. And even though, obviously, Tavares would have wanted to have the gold, he knows more than anybody else how much this is going to mean and how much Pineda had to work. But if you just see the start here, it was actually Tavares who was in the lead. It was Tavares who was in the lead at the 200-meter mark. But now just watch as Pineda, now he's not speeding up. He's basically just not slowing down as much as Tavares. And you don't quite have the same power. He just did a brilliant job of maintaining that form and that foot speed.
Well, I think there's only one other place in the world I've seen the weather close in this quickly and change. That is Melbourne. I once saw it go from 44 degrees down to 18 in the space of about half an hour. That has happened here with the darkness that's set in. Pineda takes the gold though, it doesn't matter. He's happy because he's beaten the weather and he's the world champion in the men's 400 metres T20 intellectual impairment category. Well, that gives you a good sign, doesn't it? It shows you the stadium now, how dark it's got. Pineda, championship record with the final event of the track in the morning session. Three-time world champion has to settle for silver in Daniel Tavares Martins. And Idris Sufyani of Saudi Arabia, a lifetime best. He picks up the bronze. Antonio of Portugal failed to finish.
By lady there, and the outside just fell down. So Brazil, Claudia Batista in the discus, their 5th gold of the day. Dai got a bronze for China. Poland with 4 gold and 4 bronze today. De Bruyne 2, Hug 1. In terms of Switzerland's golds, Yol de Jong in the long jump last night. Blackwell and Joel Gomez now for the United States with their golds. Gold and silver for India last night. Rinku fantastic in the javelin. Britain, Hannah Cockcroft getting a superb gold, and Sabrina Fortune as well. Clean sweeper was for Cockcroft's 400 metres T34 last night. And Algeria picking up 2 golds as well as Ukraine so far in Delhi. Thailand through Pang Nua get their 4th medal. That was the silver just now in the T54. Orla Comerford and Greta Stray-Makita with the Ireland gold medals. Gloria Sarza right now in the shot. Congratulations to her. Germany through Nico Capel in his shot put in the last few minutes. A 3-time world champion out, and sensation for Saudi Arabia as well, as they through Naif Al Mizrahi take gold in the men's 100 metres T44. Iger's happiness, the greatest thing that you can possess, a World Championship gold, and he has it. And Italy, well, sensational stuff in the T72, and they may be on to another here. And Peru, historically, with their first ever medals, the gold coming from Melissa Baldera in that 400 T11. Bulgaria, Malaysia, Norway, Shafali with the gold for them, United Arab Emirates. Denmark and Wagner in the long jump. More nations picking up medals now. Greece in the shot picking up a bronze in the past few minutes behind Capel. That was through Tunis. Iraq, Morocco and South Africa with a bronze too. Well, it's darkening up. We're all off, and we'll catch you a little bit later for more evening finals. Maybe the weather will pick up, but one way or another, the action certainly will. From Will Downing, Tulson Tollett and Steph Reed for the moment, it's farewell. Give me a sec.